Sinai Bible, which predates the King James Version of the Bible, there was never a crucifixion. It didn't happen. It was added to the Bible by the Romans as they combined all their pagan and non-pagan holidays and everything else into one book and decided if we get the people under this one roof, instead of fighting them, we can keep them under this one thing and we can take their money every week. We can make them pay taxes, we can make them send us offerings, and so that's what they decided to do. So it says here, yes, Jesus was married and had children. His bloodline still walks the earth till this very day. A well-known story in the East recounts Jesus was a student of the mystery schools, and upon leaving there, he traveled to Tibet. He learned energetic healing and meditation. This is not me. This is not off my dome. This is coming up out of ancient texts, ancient records that already existed thousands of years before the Bible was written. Jesus got married, never got crucified. As a matter of fact, the Sinai Bible.
There you go. There's another alternate history. Hello. Hello. Alright, there we're good. So you can hear me. I just couldn't hear me. Yeah, that's a interesting concept that Jesus didn't die. I tend to believe that as well. I read a one account was that he did get like sent to the cross to die, but somehow they switched him, or he didn't die. He did come alive, like he was alive, and then he went off and left the whole area. And I heard that he went to Europe, but maybe he went to Tibet beforehand. Learn a lot of the mystical side of what the ancient Tibetans have held on to, so much wisdom, and then he may have taken it back to Europe, and that's what I heard. He went to Europe. He had a brother, and that they had children, and those children became, because Jesus was a king, he was of the king's line, like it says it in the Bible. He's of the Davidic king's line of people, and so his bloodline was what became some of the kingdom dynasties in Europe over the last 2,000 years. And I heard that they were called the Fisher Kings in reference to Jesus, I believe. Yeah, and so then the story is that all through Europe, and they've been holding on to that bloodline, but it's a secret because it's been persecuted against for the reason I believe is that because these kings like Solomon were good kings, right? They were good kings, and they were like spiritually advanced. So that's why Solomon was so wise. It's because he's connected in with God. And so he knew the right and wrong answers to things, and that's why his kingdom flourished when he was being like under reign. I guess he was reigning over the kingdom. Yeah. So there might be a reason why that bloodline is to be conserved, because when the time is right, then you have a dawning of a new age, and then you have that bloodline available. To me, that sounds pretty cool story. Cool. It seems more truthful than I've never really, like, some of the things in the Bible don't make sense to me. Things don't add up. So this story seems to make more sense than any others. And it's interesting because you talk about society and how societies are designed and what's the natural system. Like I've talked about it, but the idea that our natural system is one of like kingship, and so just like the natural system of the bees, they have a natural order. And when there's total freedom, people can go to wherever they fit and wherever they want to be. So it's like everything just naturally forms into order. That's what I believe is possible for humans as well. And I've contemplated the idea that maybe whoever designed us left us this model. This is how it works. You have a type of people who are ruling that are spiritually advanced. They have no desire for power. They have no desire for wealth, but they have a desire to make joy and bring happiness and to see their people happy. Right, to bring wealth and prosperity to those people. Like that's so you have those people in charge or reigning, but they're doing it for the love of the people. And then that abundance and amazingness flows down. And that is our natural system. That's the natural societal. That's how we will work best. And that's why when we go back to the Egyptians, and if you look at it from this angle, you see that that's what they were doing. They were telling us the importance of selecting the kings and queens. Like they were weighing the heart of the king and queen before they were given the crown, because obviously you give someone the crown and then like they can be bad or power corrupts. Like look at Lord of the Rings, it's all about the ring of power. And who was the only one who could hold the ring of power? Was the most humble dude from the Shire who just wanted to garden. But he had no desire for power, none whatsoever. And so he was the only one able to carry it, because otherwise it corrupted everybody. Yeah. Lord of the Rings is a great movie. There's so much wisdom in there. And I think a lot of the way the world is very similar to Lord of the Rings. You know, there is good and dark, or light and dark, going on in this world. There is. And it's good to acknowledge it. And so, but it's just a lot more in your face in Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Here it's like an undercover war. So it's like, yeah, I love it. I was so into it as a kid. My grade 6 teacher read us The Hobbit. And yeah, that was it. I was off and running about with Lord of the Rings. And I had my father, he was into it as well, which is great. And so he had a map book of where Frodo and Sam were on their journey, and you could follow them. And I really thought that was cool. That was great. And then obviously the movies come out, and they were as I had imagined. You know, that world. Like Peter Jackson did like an outstanding job on making it real but fantasy, you know. It's like it may not be that far away in another reality, just nearby. So I was going to play a song, but then I realized that you can't actually play songs on YouTube because they ban you. So that's unfortunate. I need to change that. I need to be able to like show cool things that we see and share on podcasts. I think that would be really fun, because you could play like I guess there's live now. How does that work with playing music? You have to play your own original music. Well, like, how do DJs work it? Maybe I can play music. I need to look into that. Be great to be able to play a song in here and there, have a bit of a break. Otherwise, I have to play my own music, which I will do at one point as well. But I guess you can play TikTok videos, alright though. So I was leaning towards talking about my spiritual journey and some of the things I've learned. Because now that I'm doing these podcasts, I'm like, well, I have things to share, so I'm just share it because it will resonate with somebody. And so, because I'm quite a reserved person, so to like get up and speak up, it's taken a while to get to this point, and lots of my outer world is pretty crazy and wild right now. But it's not really, because I'm living the most amazing life right now. So, and I'm in a very good, happy space. So, I'm actually in the most perfect place I am right now, even with the way my outside world is. Like, this is exactly what I want to be doing. Yeah, is talking and to be talking to others as well, not just me narrating on. But this is a good thing. I encourage everyone to get on and do a YouTube live and just talk for an hour to yourself. It's it's interesting. I encourage everyone to do it. You definitely become better at speaking. You become more relaxed, so I guess then you flow a bit better, quicker. And the idea of like coming on and having nothing to talk about and just allowing the universe to tell me what I need to talk about, that takes a little bit of courage to do that. It's like, shit, I'm going to go live here, and all of a sudden I might just ramble on and say nonsense and forget everything. So these are all the fears that come up. But I love to challenge myself, and I love to, especially if something is offered, it's like, got to go for it. Got to go. I can't say no. Right? There's just always, if the universe offers, it's hard to say no, right? And that's led me very well in life. That's like with, I don't know if you watch Seinfeld, where George Costanza he spent a whole episode doing the opposite of what he thought was the right answer. And his life was amazing. So yeah, I'm doing that. It's like, if it's a yes, if I have to say yes. Yeah, so it makes for a fun life, but obviously within reason. You can't say yes to everything, right? But you can make more of a yes than a no. Yeah. Yeah, which includes, like, this is a joint here. I was like, no, I don't want to smoke it in front of everyone because it'll show something. But it's like, well, actually, to be as real as possible is what we need to be going forward in this world. We need to be able to be free to do what the hell we want, as long as it doesn't harm anyone. So by smoking a joint, it puts me in a place where I can channel and talk a lot more, but it does occasionally make me forget. So yeah, it's a beautiful substance. I use it a lot for meditation. To me, it really helps me drop deep in with my meditation. So I'm a big proponent of cannabis used wisely. Like it's a goddess. She is a goddess, and you need to like treat her as a goddess. So you don't want to use her too much, right? You want to respectfully use her, and use with intention, and always like it's like giving prayers to her, like that. And then there's the respect for each other and for the plant, right? And that's a beautiful way to use plant medicine. See the consciousness in them, that they are like a living entity. And they have gifts for you. So those gifts come in when you are in the right frame of mind, and you're I guess being grateful for the plant. Yeah, Shiva, the first yogi in India, he's always got cannabis plant around him. And I think, the ancients were always leaving us clues for us to remember an older time. And the like cannabis has been a part of our cultures for so long, and it's really just the last 100 years, not even that. Yeah, less than 100 years that it's been demonized, where they've got so many remedies that they used with cannabis, but like the ancient Proto-Indo-Europeans that were around Iran and the Black Sea area, they used to hotbox in a tent, and they had a big urn with coals in it, I think it was, and then they would put cannabis, opium, and ephedra together in a hotbox environment, throw it all onto the hot coals. And so to me that's it's a ceremonial purpose. Like when I mention those drugs, like even I squirm a little bit, but these guys were using it in a ceremonial way, and that ceremonial way was adding to their society. Like there was benefits to the way that they had their ceremonies, and it would have connected the people. It would have helped enlighten them. There would have been I'm sure they would have done chanting in there, playing music, breath work, all these different things that they'd be doing to elevate their consciousness. But to use a plant or plants that have been given to us by Mother Nature is nothing wrong with that, I say, as long as it's done with the right respect and intention. And so, yeah, and appreciate it without any guilt. Yeah, plant medicines is a whole world that we could talk about, and because I believe we're like the stewards of the planet, and we get conscious enough where we all look after the planet. Like, that's how it's meant to be. And we can have societies, kingdoms that don't have smaller impacts on the earth. You make these sustainable villages, and they don't, like, they're sustainable. And you just make that is a requirement. And then you work out how to do it. But sustainable means, no plastic. Growing crops that you can use to make bowls, I don't know, and like storage containers. Yeah, we've got so much technology and wisdom now. It should be pretty easy. Be fun to design this sustainable village. There'd be, like, you need lots of technical engineers, architects. I had spoken to a tooling company. I said to them, like, with you could provide all the tools for these sustainable villages, and tooling, because every sustainable village will need very similar tooling. Like, you are going to need wood lathes and metal lathes and 3D printers and like electronics departments with all the kit that they need. And so you got to have, like, all this. You got to have everything. You got to have all the tools that then allows you to create whatever you want. Like, so it's a mini. Yeah, it's just got everything. Maybe you can even print circuit boards if you need to. But somehow you make it so you're fully sustainable with very, minimal inputs. Like that, the aim is zero input. That would be fun. So your aim is to achieve zero input and long life. Like the tooling, you could design tooling that was going to last. That was the intention, that it would last 100 years, and then it was easily repairable. Maybe the tooling could be interchangeable, so you could change different motors. Yeah, like, it's all interchangeable, so that, like, that tooling manufacturer would have, they just sell a whole kit, and you've got everything for your sustainable village right there, and it just you just order it. Because I see when people start to understand the benefits of living in this type of village, then everyone will want to get involved. And I don't see money as being a restriction. You want to be able to get the best of everything. So so money is not the problem, right? Once people understand, like, this is the best investment you could make. Like, where do you want to put your money right now? Well, how about a sustainable village? Because land values are going to be amazing all the way around it, because this sustainable village is going to be producing all this amazing local produce. It's going to be producing this local creativeness. Like, you're going to have metal workers, and you have pottery makers, and you have, like, everything, all blacksmiths. And so you basically create a hub of being able to, we export power, charge electric vehicles. We could, we grow all our own food, so no food is imported, so you have your cafe, and it's brings people in because people want to see this type of world. It's a win-win. And then, just the land around would be of value, because they can buy power off you, or they can do many different things. There are many advantages, and then there's healing centers, and then there's workshops, and health, entertainment, bands playing. We, it's a full little village. It's got everything. Yeah. That's what we should aim for. We aim high, and then work to it, because we have the knowledge and the technical expertise now. If Elon Musk can build that rocket in the time he has, then you can build and have these sustainable villages up and going in no time. 2 years, 1 year to get one going. 1 year. Yeah. I've got the right land, I've got the right everything. So, for one. But there are dreams for many. Because sustainable village is not just about all your goods and services, and like it's also sustainable for humanity, like our sustainable for humans to not blow each other up. Like it's designing a sustainable society that is going to last, and that is based on love and care for your people. The Egyptians did it for 3,000. Well, they said a lot longer than that. The king's list in Egypt goes like 200,000 years. But the kings of the past lived for longer. Like some lived for 1,000 years or 2,000 years. Yeah. So whether we've just lost that ability to live for as long for some reason. But yeah, the sustainable society where everyone is held by the society. I don't think it's that hard. I think when people get into the right environment, then it's natural. People just naturally start to shine. But there's lots to learn. Because us humans have forgotten how to all live together again, and that's what we have to learn. And I learned that a lot over the last 3 years with the community. It's like so much to learn, and being around people, you're triggered. Someone will trigger you, guaranteed. So it's like learning not to get triggered, learning to solve, like problem solve, so you're not like in angst with others. Yeah, you have to have like little group circles if there's any issues. If someone's done something to upset somebody else, you have all these systems in your society to support all that. I mean, most of it gets supported anyway just by having a strong family around you, friends and family. Like you resolve so many personal mental challenges just by talking to someone about it. And so there goes 90% of problems. But there are larger problems that then you have facilities and you have ways for supporting those people. Yeah. I guarantee, like I saw it at Mindful Earth, I saw it that we had some people arrive that were in pretty bad ways, like, just coming off meth, alcoholics, and people are fairly traumatized, and the experiences they had because they had a place where they could be free and connect with other people. Like that, it's so healing. Like that is the solution to healing mental health, is just being around other humans and communing together and sharing stories. And yeah, that is the solution. I saw it many times. The solution is not to medicate. Like the solution is to bring people in communities and have the support to help those people while they're in the communities. And you'll find you won't be that busy having those if you're a support worker. It doesn't happen very often. Out of like the 3 years, I had maybe 3 episodes like mental health issues. And there was like a couple of thousand people that came through. So it was very rare. But yeah, it would have been good to have the facilities. So like you have to have that in your society. Because no one gets left behind. But that is provided no one gets left behind, because you have to leave some people behind too. If they're not on the same dream, like for me the dream is to like revolutionize the way we live together and do it on a large scale, and it's like building blocks again of how we should be living together in with brothers and sisters and grandmas and grandpas. So we build that demonstration project, and then it spreads. We build them everywhere, and we show they become hubs of healings, like healing centers, entertainment centers. You get all the creatives, you get all the people that really have something, like to really want to offer something, their passion. Like there's so many creative people out there just sort of twiddling their thumbs, and like, so to bring everyone together and create this little wonderland, it sounds too good to be true, if you ask me. Like, it's like, hell yeah, this is exactly what everyone needs to do. And yeah, I saw that here. We provided a space for the musicians here, and we had some amazing nights where a band would form and then they'd just jam all night. But providing that space created like just so much magic. And so you provide a village, sustainable village, for people who who know how we should be living, who know that we can live together in harmony. Like, and then we work it out. We work out how to make it happen. And we used like how the past civilizations, we take bits from everywhere, but it's all based on freedom. It's based on like love and family. So yeah, if you're on that, if that's what you want to do, then. But if you like, I had examples of people staying here who really didn't want to be here. They just were so lost. They were just sort of not in it, not into it. And then I found that they didn't respect me either. So it was like, well, what if you're not respecting me, then you don't need to be here. It's like, because you got to see what I'm doing here, the community that is what we're building here, and how important it is. So we can't have people sitting around bringing the place down. And so I had to ask a few of those people to leave. So yeah, it's you got to have the right intention. Intention is everything. You got to have the right intention to participate, I think. And you'll find that in everything. You know, you got a soccer team and one player's not pulling his weight. It's not really wanting to be there. It brings the whole team down, and you can't allow that. You have to be the devil fist once in a while. That's one of the most important things I learned, was the need to keep that harmony of the people. And if something starts to upset it, you have to deal with it. Because the harmony of the people is more important. Yeah. How are we going? 36 minutes. That's better. Yeah, we have to dream the highest. Okay, let's aim for this, and then we can make our way there. And that's how Elon's going to Mars. He's said this is what we're going to do, and then they managed to work out how to get there. And that's the fun journey. That's the exciting bit. Is let's start looking at ways to redefine our societies. It's not in any threatening way. Like, it's not overthrowing anyone, or it's not. It's purely saying, hey, we've got an idea, and we want to try it, and it's based on the old way. There's many laws that are written around allowing kingdoms to happen, right? Like, or sustainable kingdoms, villages, where they create their own system, society. But it doesn't mean that it's a threat to anybody. So you just got different rules. You're allowing people to grow cannabis, and people don't get arrested for that. Like, whether it's interesting whether you need to have a fully seceded from the country you're in, and just like how the Vatican works, right? They're a state with their own rights. So that's what would be probably the best way to do it, is you become your own papal state in each country, and you become a little independence, but you're not of any threat to anybody. It's purely just looking at different ways to govern, and I'm sure the Magna Carta allows it, or some of the law documents from the Anglo-Saxons, because all that, like English law is, I don't think they have a constitution, and I would imagine, because Australia is still under the Queen, we would have all those laws would still apply. And I wonder if with laws, an old law is like an old law that all laws are based on is more valid than the laws above it. Like, that to me sort of makes sense. So I wonder what laws, the original laws that exist for such topics. But yeah, the thing is like to be fully creative in a sustainable village and do What could you make your own cigars or your own like tobacco products, but healthy? Could you do the cannabis products? Could you make all types of herbal medicines? Could you do plant medicines and grow plant medicines? Like all these things, there's lots of hurdles with in your own country of laws. So it's like, well, okay, create your own state, vassal state with your own laws, with your own system of governing. That's possibly a way. Or you just create in your own country without creating your own governing body, but you have some way to get the approvals. And I guess that just means you need lots of lawyers. Lots of lawyers and lots of money behind you. And then you can go in and change laws. So I want to grow cannabis. Okay, go in and challenge those laws and make changes. Especially now you could do that. But even tobacco, plant medicines, all these things, it's like they all need to be questioned, because it's our God-given right to use plant medicines, and whether you just have to show you're doing it responsibly, that's probably what the government is there for. It's just safeguarding, but maybe those safeguards have got a little bit out of hand. Yeah. So. But it is also possible to just initially, when you're doing a sustainable village, like you could just not challenge anything and just do it by the book. But that's where it gets a little bit difficult, because as we've found here with local council, there's so many little planning laws and things that are very restrictive. They really don't allow you to do many different businesses on one piece of land. Like they don't allow you to have like they're very restrictive on how many people you can have to stay. Like they basically, all the planning laws stop a community from being formed. Like people can't just go and, so there's 50 people on 100 acres. You can't just go and build there. There's all these planning laws around how many houses you can have. Like in Australia, it's one house and one granny flat for a farm. The farm could be 1,000 acres. In this area here, up to 200 acres, and you can only put one house and a granny flat on there. And so we're in a tourist area, and that you can have chalets. I think it's 6 chalets, this is good. That's great, because it allows people to, like, for accommodation. It's good, very good income, because a lot of people come here for tourism. So yeah, there's a lot of shire restrictions that almost make it impossible to create a community. Now the only way is to have, as I mentioned, like with having enough funding to be able to challenge some of these rules in court. And if you had enough funding, then like the fines that they give you is not a problem, right? But yeah, for people to build community, we need to change the planning laws, especially the local planning laws. They're very, very restrictive. And that will be a real challenge, is getting through the red tape of the governments. So, yeah, maybe we have to just build it out in the desert. The first one. Because I think once you show how it works and what it's about, and it becomes such an amazing example for society to live, then you can build them in other places that are not quite so like, because even for the community here, we got lots of hassles from the locals. Some initially it was because of the just having travelers, gypsies, coming into the area and hanging out. Like there's always been that. There's always been this energy of local people against foreign people. It's a human trait. And so yeah, that was one. And then we had a few parties and played the music too loud, and that caused more people to get offside. So, and then people talk stories, and next thing you know, so it's like next thing you know, I'm sitting here talking about building dreams, because yeah, this whole experience has taught me so much about building this dream, and I know it's possible now. I see what it does when people come together. Yeah. So all that red tape has to be challenged, and it's the only way. We just have to challenge it, because common sense, law is about common sense. That's the original reason for law, and like making for good decisions to keep the good in the world. And these laws are not good laws, and so they can be challenged. And I think you have to do that all over the world. Like these people need to be able to build their own little communities. And maybe it just gets to the point where it's just too many people have been doing it and they just can't police it. But the problem is so because the deal here was, and it was all about this, that the council has a law that says you can only camp on private land for 3 days per month if you're within 20 k's of a caravan park. And so it's purely like a caravan and camping act that was like from the 40 years ago. That's why they said we couldn't have people stay here. And that was what it was all about, because we said we had to get permits for things. Our toilets aren't to spec. Agreed to do all those things, but they said no, you've got to get rid of the people staying here. Then they can't stay here, they're campers. And we kept, it's like, well, they're not campers. But anyway, long story, that was so they said you got 3 weeks for everyone to leave. And that's where the challenge, I couldn't allow that. That's not, it's not lawful. So that's where we're at, and we got a fine, and so now we're actually at the point of selling the property for other reasons. My ex and needing to buy her half out. So yeah, but the journey of learning so much about community was worth every moment. And meeting such amazing people, like every moment. The challenges and everything, like and the amazingness. Yeah, it's like taking me on the journey to here where I am talking about building communities, but building like large communities, rebuilding our society. That's all we're doing, rebuilding. No one has to be threatened by it. It's purely just rebuilding our society as to how it used to be. It's freedom, right? You're going back to freedom where people can do what the hell they want as long as they don't hurt anyone. So it's like you just got to redesign it and start again. And yeah, it's not a threat to anybody though. It shouldn't be a threat. The betterment of humanity, designing systems like we are, like we're engineers, we love technology. The society, the design of the society is technology. And it's a very important topic. I don't know why we don't talk about it. Yeah, so let's start talking about designing societies. You know, like there's the Saudi government are building this development called the Line, and it's going to have 1 million people living in it. It's a line that's like 200 meters wide and 100 kilometers long. And they've got a transport system running through it. But there's no talk about how the society is designed, right? It's like, yeah, everyone's just going to rock in there and it's all just going to work. But what about that disconnection that exists in our world now? Like, how are you going to bring people together? How do you create events? What are you doing? Like, how is it designed, like, to connect people? But the thing is with a line, and our whole cities are designed in lines. Like you don't get in a line. It's like when you're sitting at a big dinner table and it's a really long table. Like you don't talk to the people at the other end of the table. Like you have to get up and move, which most people don't get up and move. Right. So maybe there's always the gypsy that gets around and moves, always. But the majority will just stay at their chair. And so